Whoever else, if you're here, if you're part of one of those processes, this is the pro webinar Forex forecast for the week of February 26th to March 3rd. Let's jump right into the muck here, okay? All right, today's topics. We talk about this week in the news. Very important. A lot of little news things happening. We want to discuss a little misfire of the NFP too, which we'll discuss here for this week too. We'll talk about the SR Max and using it correctly. A lot of people are using them, and they're looking at them in a different frame of mind than it was intended from that position. So I want to give you guys just a little bit more insight on the SR Maxes. I also want to look at the new process of the 5-minute MDM WB. We'll find out what WB stands for here in just a minute. And of course, a call for elite and senior traders. And of course, we'll finish out the day with our final thoughts. I'll try to make this very super fast because there's a lot of stuff happening today. And I want to make sure you guys got plenty of time to do stuff as well. Okay, let's get started. Before we do, I am going to be showing you some numbers today. So just in case you see something and you think, I can do that, remember, all results may vary. Also remember that all of this process of us learning, of us working with each other, of us building relationship, all of it is for education and trade assistance only. It's not meant to be your one and only. You got to have common sense. You got to have risk management. You have to have a plan. And we can teach you, we can give you these tools. But just like me giving you a hammer, I can't stop you from hitting yourself in the head with it. So there's risk. All right. So please be careful. All right, let's talk about the news on the non-farm payroll. As most of you know, the non-farm payroll news junket comes out the first Friday of every month. Well, guess what? Friday is March 3rd. But apparently this month, and I don't know why, sometimes I got to really research this a little bit better because I do realize that sometimes, like I think it was like the one month, it was on the 3rd. They may need 4 days. I don't know. I got to really look at that that scenario in there because I was once told that they had to have a clear Wednesday and Wednesday, a Thursday, and a Friday all had to be in the same month. Well, that still happens this month, so I was kind of a little confused when I didn't see it available. But hey, I did see a tremendous amount of other news that was in there as well. So let me try to get over there and see if I can find my news system here. Okay, here it is. Just 1 second. Here we go. So when I looked, I found it on March 10th. Here it is, 8:30, non-farm payroll, right? Private non-farm payroll. So I know that it's there. It's, ta-da, it's on the 10th. But why wasn't it on the February or March 3rd? So I just kind of went like this and changed it out just a little bit, and I hit apply. And I can come back in and see that the week is like this morning, there was just a ton of news happening at 8:30. Really pushed the market around because it just went right in from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, punched the market in the face a little bit dangerous tonight too. So keep that in mind. A lot of Audi releasing information. It's almost like a mini vacation for you guys, right? Over the next couple of days, not so bad on Tuesday. You do get a little bit of stuff happening with the Canadian stuff. 10:30 to 11 o'clock happening again. End of month, beginning of new month. If you're gonna listen. As you all know, I don't support political battles inside decks. I don't care what side of the aisle you freaking sit on, okay? But you will always have respect in this company. You will always judge every single person by their merit of what they do and how they work and how they treat you, not by what they say about political value. In fact, there is no ability to be able to talk about any political value in this network. When I talk about politics, it is of the strictest discipline to make sure that it's neutral. I don't care if you think he's your president, if he doesn't your president. I don't care what side of that you're on, right? The only thing that I look at is that when the president of the United States, whether it be Obama, Bush, Reagan, Bush, whomever, Clinton, it doesn't matter. When they speak, how does it affect the market? In times of past, they have affected the market to a degree, okay? And after they've been inaugurated and they go through their things, it slowly trends down, right? But again, every time it seems that Trump speaks, it goes far left, far right, down, it goes everywhere, right? So, I mean, every word that he says, every tweet that he does seems to be some sort of speckle of movement in this market. So just keep that in mind. Got to keep your ear to the grindstone or keep your ear to the ground to see that, this is something that when he comes out and talks or tweets or does anything in the market about anything about the market, you got to be a little bit careful in trading at that point. But it's almost the same thing you talk about Yellen, right? Every time she comes out, something happens and the market goes ups and downs. So it's no real any difference in any other news junk. And I think that's why they started to start to holding it. Because I don't remember ever seeing U.S. President Obama speaks at this point. I think they started to use it as a warning sign. Even investing.com and other ones have as well. So, all right, I've digressed. So throughout during the week, got some pretty heavy news stuff that's going to hit. Again, always keep in mind what news is in front of you, right? Remember that news doesn't just affect the hour it's in. And even though I say wait prior to about a half hour, if you get a whole bunch of crap happening, remember, it can affect the signals prior to, during, and after because there's a return, right? There's a battle that happens in the trade, right? So news comes out here, market goes like this, and then this is like, that's at 8:30, and then it's 9 o'clock, and then 10 o'clock, there's some more news that happens, 3 bulls, and so it might be affected here, but it's still trying to do its thing from earlier. I mean, there's so many different things that can happen. Now, over a long period of time, which the recourse of heavy news, if there's a bunch of 3 bull news, 2 bull news, and 1 bull news, and all these things happen, and then maybe Trump comes out and speaks, or however you feel, it doesn't really matter if you're upside down, frown, or what have you, right? So he comes out and speaks, and then it goes like this, and it goes like this, and then something happens, and it goes all the way down here, and it doesn't matter. What normally happened at whatever direction this was headed originally in the trend, if the trend is set, a high-low has been set, it's going to try to go back to that level. It's eventually going to try to get back there, right? So don't validate news as this is the big trend shift. Now it's all going to keep going down. It's always going to try to return some way or another back to another support line that has been touched a whole bunch of times, or if this has already been the high, it's going to try to get something down in the resistance support side. You just have to watch the market. You got to be prepared for where it's about to go. Don't get wrapped up in the micromanagement of your time and news. Sit back and look at it on a broader scale, right? This is really important for all of you traders to know, is that if you look at it on a broader scale, you're stuck here on a 1-minute chart, like on this chart right here. But if I were to dance this back, let me see if I can chart another window and see if I'm on the 1-minute chart, this chart looks the same exact as this chart. You don't even know which one I'm on right now, do you? Because I got it hidden. All right? Is this a 1-minute chart or a 50-minute chart? Well, if I scroll my screen down right here, you could easily say it's a 30-minute chart. The 1 day looks the same exact as a 1 minute. Can you tell the difference? No. But if you scroll back, you can easily start seeing trend, validation of trend, movement, overall destination. You added a supplying system in here. You don't even need to add a program in. You can just draw a bunch of lines on this thing. Holy crap, look at this. This is how easy it is to look at support and resistance and doing trend. Look what I'm doing right now. I'm doing the same thing our program does to a degree. I'm finding relationships between different levels, different pricing structures by simply backing up just a little bit and looking at the market in a whole. And I did that in 30 seconds, not even. These also transfer down, folks, to the lower levels. That's right. You see, there is reflection upon these lower levels as well. So setting them at the higher levels, even your D1s, will give you some reflection when you're down in the micro battles, the trenches, if you will. Does that make sense? I hope so. So when watching news, simply apply some support and resistance from a macro look. And this will give you a help to see if this thing's reaching out, if it's bouncing between 2 levels, if it's created a new high, if it's created a new low. But wait for the news to end and maybe an hour or two. Maybe instead of looking at the news as individual time frames of, all right, the news came out at 10 o'clock. All right, I'm going to wait till 10:30 and I can start trading again. Maybe wait for a little bit longer. If there's like 3 or 4 news that are happening, give yourself an extra hour or two. The reason why we don't news avoid every little piece of detail we have and just give you their own signals is because we're collecting data. Also, we're also here to teach you how to be a trader. And part of being a trader is making good decisions on the trades. It's never about me giving you, go here, grab this price, and go up all the time and you do this 3,000 times a year. Okay, this is about you learning what prices to take, what battles to put yourself into, and how to build that relationship with trading. Okay, because if I don't at least allow you to build a relationship with trading, and something, God forbid, happens to me, Dex, the network, the company, whatever, all of your time is wasted. Okay, if I don't let you build that relationship with trading and teach you good, proper risk management, right? News avoidance, right? Knowing how to watch the news, how it unfolds, and how to, avoid those pitfalls. Okay, how to buy in, so good price management, right? I also refer to this as money management, right? You want to money manage. Right? So price management is buying the good contracts. Risk management also kind of works hand in hand with price management. It's the other end of it, right? Because if you're getting in at $65 on a sell, you're buying OTM, so you're not getting good price management, and you're doing okay risk-wise, but not okay price-wise. So you rarely ever fill that. So this is just sort of wasted money at that point, right? You're still getting in too close to news, but you won't know what that is because there's so many different news packs. There's so many different news things that come out that there's no one way to gauge what one bet does better. That's why you have to take that macro look. You have to build that relationship. And in the room, if you could tell me in the room, what helps you build that relationship? What thing can you do to build relationship with trading? Can anybody tell me in the room? Senior, elite, anybody? What one thing can you do that, there you go, Ken. Ken nailed it. Ken's name goes right up here because it's awesome. Great job. Practice, trading, demo, learn, build. Keep doing it. Work hard. Figure that shit out. Okay? I'm giving you the tools. We're giving you some of the process to get into. We're teaching you. We're giving you where an event happens. Right? Remember this. Our signals are designed that an event happens within the network, okay? And our system says it's a buy or it's a sell. What price to get into, what level to get out on, how to work that network is all up to you. And learning this comes with 200 or 300 trades, comes with, learning how, oh man, I just lost that one. Look what I did. I pushed that level too much. When you lose one, there's two major things that we always talk about that you do. One, you verify you didn't screw up, right? Always happens to me too. Still happens to me. I still mess up every once in a while. It's far and few between than what I used to do. So you verify if you screwed up. And if you didn't, you can validate a little bit more stuff. Hey, is there something that caused this issue that I didn't see? And once that is, and that's, I mean, we're talking micro minutes here, right? We're not talking 4 or 5. Excuse me. Excuse me. We're not talking about taking a tremendous amount of time here to psychoanalyze, was I sitting in a proper 90-degree angle on my chair when I was trading, and that's maybe why I didn't trade well? No. You quickly overview whether or not you won or lost, and you're on, right? You're on to the next batch. All right. So news for this week, heavy, all the way up until Friday. I would say, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're going to have some times in there that you're going to be able to trade, of course, depending on if it's dailies. If it's dailies, you're going to be kind of playing, hit or miss at that point. I think you're going to you may not be able to get in if there's a lot of heavy news, but be wary, okay? Because listen, heavy news packs happening at 8:30, or anything like from 8:30 to 9 o'clock on a daily happening for the daily from in the morning from 8 to 11, okay, that daily can get junked over because the news pushes it so hard, tricks it into thinking it's a sell, and then what's it do all day long? It tries to recuperate back to its original destination. Plus, it might hit some news around 10 o'clock that pushes it further in that destination, and it fails, okay? So keep that in mind. So if you got heavy news, heavy news, try to avoid the dailies on those particular days if they're happening early in the morning. Remember, most of the dailies from the other 5 session or the other 5 signal releases that happen can be averted in the news because there's not a lot of news that happens late at night okay, that Asian session that hits. There is some that happens in the Euros, okay, in the London session. So the Asian and Australian sessions are really, they can survive the news pack, so you can do them in those time frames. But the London Open and of course the New York Open and London Close are the one that it really gets close to getting banged over with, right? Usually not so much in the London Close to the Asian Open, from that 4 o'clock signal release to the 7 p.m. expiry. Normally that doesn't get hit either, right? Tremendous amount of the losses that come in those very short periods of times in the morning when there's a tremendous amount of news, and you can even look at that at the processing center itself. All right, let's move on. The SR Max. Now, in the SR Max, we're going to talk about a few things here. The SR Max was originally designed to, one, have a direction, to be able to clarify an event that happens. There's a few things that happen in the SR Max that allows us to see when does the market get to a certain point, okay? And when it gets to that certain point over a time frame, we say if these 3 indicators that we use all depict the same answer of which direction is it going, okay? And I won't tell you what 3 they are, and there's even one part of it that's, this thing is about 3 indicators that it uses and time, right? And we call this time emergence, okay? Time emergence is when the market is going over a period of time and we have set a level that says if this bar goes above this bar at this particular time, we're going to consider this to be a buy from this location at this particular time, right? Right? And that's how time emergence trading goes. In our case, we use 3 indicators and time emergence to gather a direction. Now, why does it fail? Why, if we have 4 things happening on that process, why does it fail? Well, just like anything else fails. There's a shift in the market, a return happens. Remember, we're trying to keep this very, very close to the vest. This range is only about 20 pips wide, right? Compared to the dailies, which is usually between 40 and 60 pips wide. We're really trying to focus the bar here on when is it a good trade. Now, on a daily, there's not too many super indicators that say, hey, this thing ain't going to work so well. It's going back the opposite way. You might want to think of getting out, right? Because how important is that to you, to have an availability to get out of a trade for lower risk, right? It's really super important. There's not one made in the world that I know of, okay, of any signal company that sends you, that shows you the alert on how to exit the trade and what does it look like when it goes bad, right? And we all know those that are here that are trading the SR Maxes, right? Is that the MACD, the DEX MACD, or the MACD itself, okay, when it has that crossover going in the opposite direction of your trade, that's a super indicator of saying, hey, get the hell out of Dodge, depending on when it happens. Now, for the most part, poor puppy. For the most part, if that crossover happens within the first hour, definitely get out. There's something that's happened with the trade, maybe super news or something's happened. If it happens within the second hour, because remember the SR Maxes are 2 hours long, right? So if it happens in the second hour, right, and that crossover happens in the opposite direction, if it happens at the 15-minute or the 30-minute, still get out. If it happens on the 45-minute, like as soon as it's 45 minutes past the hour and that crossover is confirmed, then you still have a possibility of winning this trade, depending. Okay. So you're going to have to kind of use some more judgment at that point. You can risk it. I mean, if you got it for like a super really good price, like $45 or something, or $40 and above, you know, you might want to look at that risk value, right? That return to risk value. But if you got it for like $25 or under $30, you might want to just cut your loss and take your loss of your 20-something bucks, $25, $26 that you're going to be at, right? So that's really important, is that if you you have to start judging what is a good acceptable risk for you, because the tough part is that once you learn what you're safe with removing that anxiety over what's an acceptable loss, then you can start really finding your true nature of the network. You can really start finding where's your discipline come in from, right? And it's been tough because there's going to be times that it's going to lead you down into yeah, I'm reading something from Brad Beckham here in his notes too, and I'm going to show you transparency here. Okay, this is about transparency, because it's not really about. Give me 1 second, I got to find it again. Just had it. There we go. There we go. So you can see 82%. $168 won over 56 trades. Again, trading one contract at a time. But the last it's here from the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, over 3 days. I really didn't trade into this week. Had a bad part of last week. Now listen, a bad part of last week, even though that he jokes and he says drawdown, I must be doing something right. Still sucks though, right? I want you to look at this. There's sometimes he goes in and he takes the loss. This is like probably a trade that he'd left and thinking this is going to be great. That's why he left it to that point. But when you're getting out, right? When you're getting out $18, $34, $25, these could be a lot worse. You see, and Brad's providing some data. I've talked to other traders. Right, Paul's doing a top down and trend at that point. I've talked to other traders that are trading the DEX, and if we go back and look at that, these are pretty good runs too, right? Right, these are really good runs as well. And I know that this is back from the set, so this is like for the month. And you might not think that this is great numbers. Brad's not, Brad works a full-time job too. So there's not a lot of money. This is not, it's $168. But there's learning curve in this. There's parts of the process that, maybe certain ones shouldn't have been left at that point. And it's about surviving, right? At this point, when you have a system that develops a scalp out, right? But a one-sided scalp on the loss side. Remember, I always say that you always should be able to scalp out on both sides. And you should, even on this system, if you buy it for $40 on profit margin, okay, and you're normally, when you lose, you're pulling out 25 to 30 bucks. If this price gets to 25 bucks, take your money, right? Don't be taking it for $10 or $16 or what have you, right? If it gets to 40, if it gets to like 30 bucks or 25 bucks, normally what you're risking when you scalp out on the side, whatever you scalp out for the loss is your average when you're scalping out, right? Not the loss amount of when they lose altogether, but when you scalp out on the loss, try to scalp out for the wins for the same balance. Okay, does that make sense? That's going to help you wash one way to the other. All right, so keep that in mind. But in the sense that when you have a system that gives you a scalp out process, you have to follow a discipline of being able to watch that market. At this point now, you're not just set and forgetting. This is a different type of trading mentality. This is sitting in front of your computer every 15 minutes confirming is that a crossover or not a crossover? And is it going to cross over or not? Well, a crossover is only a crossover when it becomes a crossover. Don't try to speculate prior to. Don't wish it coulda, woulda, shouldas. It was really close. It was crossed over, but then the 15-minute came back, and because it moved a little, it didn't really show a crossover. Well, guess what? It's not a crossover. You're looking for that crossover. Now, so far, I have only found not even 1%. I don't even know what percentage to give it, that they'll lose without a crossover or some sort of happenstance that signifies an event of reversal. That happens with that MACD crossover. Okay, so if you're trading the SR Max, you must pay attention to the process. And yes, you will get days that look like that. Okay, you'll get days that look like this. You'll get a couple days. Remember, there's only a couple in there trading. but he's not in the hole. The division of taking the time, and he's doing it right. He's following a process. He doesn't have a lot of trades in here. There could be other, once you get a tremendous amount of trades in here, a couple of hundred, you will begin to feel, what does this thing look like when I'm getting in? You know, because you start looking at, you know, what does the MACD look like when I'm getting into the trade? Did it just come over, cross over to go in a direction that it's calling? Has it been going for a super long period of time? We're learning that information as well. So you have to begin, you have to begin to start noticing some of the stuff that affects you within the system as well, right? So we talk about watching, we talk about the control, right? Getting in, what price it gets in for, what, you know, watching that process, getting there every 15 minutes. You know, let's talk about that curl, right? Remember, we just talked about just a little bit. It might start to curl over, and we're saying pay attention at this point, but don't take action. Pay attention, but don't take action. Don't preset what you think it's going to do, because this can happen, right? It could just bounce off and just start going up again, and then you're golden, right? And then you're doing the woulda, shoulda, coulda dance, right? And of course, if you're going to get in for a great price. If you're going to get in, you could set working orders for 30 or 25, whatever you're going to set them for, right? But just remember, the lower you set your working order for profit margin, and if you're doing about 85 to 90%, you still could come out underneath the profit margin. You still can come out underneath in profit loss. Even if you're trading 85, 75%, you know, even 70, you could still come out even, right? Because you've got to be buying them for $25 or more. But if you're down in the 15s and the 20s and the 21, 2s, you're going to be hurting, because you got fees that are coming out. You're going to have, you know, those times that you're trying to get out, but there's not enough money into it, and there's all kinds of things happen. So if you're going to get a price, get a great price. Get the price that you feel comfortable with. Remember, there are 3 types of pricing, right, that we kind of refer to, that are conformative to what we call the in the monies, right? The money talk. So ITM, ATM, and right, remember, OTM, right? Now, these all make reference to the indicative price being whether making the statement or true, depending on which side of the statement you're on, okay? So completing your statement. So ATM is when the indicative price is in between the 2 strikes, right? So if it was going for a buy and it was in between the 2, made that too long. It was going for the buy and it was in between the 2 strikes. Any price that for the indicative price, this would refer to as ATM. It's also ITM, right? If you had this one, and if it was going up, this would be still considered ITM. You know, we'd be going up to this point, but this price up here would be considered OTM, right? Because you're not above it yet. You're not, because you're going in this direction. But this would be considered ATM and ITM. Once you're past this one, now this branch here is considered ITM, and now this one's ATM if the other one was up here, right? These are statement lines. Does that make sense? So when we talk about this, another factor of ATM is what we refer to as market price. And market price is pretty important, because I've noticed this process to where when a price is sitting at ATM, true ATM market price, you should be between $35 and $45 right in here, right now. Now we're talking profit margin, right? We all should know the difference between profit margin and actual market price. On the sell side or the bid side, it'd be $35 to $45, easy. But on the offer side, it would be, you know, $65 to $55, right? So keep that in mind. So $35 to $45 profit margin. ITM pricing, you should have at least between 25 and 35 if you're doing ITMs. Now, if you're going to be doing working orders on SR Maxes, try to stay 30 plus. Because if you're going to go for your money, get your freaking money, right? Get the money. Because if you go too much higher than this and it gets to that level, it's super close to it, right? It's super close to the line. It means that it's it's pushing too far back into that market again, right? Because if we're up here and maybe the price has already moved and you put a working order right here and you make it for $30, in order for it to fill that $30, it's only going to get right about here. But if you put it for anything more than that, 35 or $40, it's got to get even closer, right? And what normally happens when it retraces back to this closeness, right? There's more of an opportunity for it to go like that, right? So try to keep this number relative. So it's between 25 and 30. Too far back, like 20, it'll fill, but then your number is here, right? Then if it ends up saying something happens and it loses, now you're losing 80 instead of 70 or 65 or 55. Get where I'm going with that? All right. So you guys have a clue now. You have just a little bit more of an understanding with the process of where to get your money at when it comes to the price. So get in for a great price. And what your idea of great is. Now, not super great like we had talked about. You don't want to be buying OTMs, right? Even though you might think they're great prices, anything above $45 is teetering too close to the other side. All right. I want to ask a question in this room. It's a little bit more self-serving than anything else. And I'm coming to you at this humility in a way, but with a knowledge that I've worked very hard, and I'm talking about me personally, have worked very hard to keep my momentum going, to keep my strength going, to build as much as we can to make things right, to turn a profit at whatever level that we're doing, whether it's the company side, trading wise. And one thing that I have learned is no matter how much I work and no matter how much I do, you're not going to save everybody. You're not going to be able to help everybody. You're not going to be able to fix everybody. And too many systems may be confusing, and too many processes may be hurtful. But one thing I have learned as well, the most important lessons I've learned, is that no matter how many people we get, I'm noticing that there are only really 3 types of mentalities of traders. Okay, and I'm gonna explain this here. I'll try to explain it very quickly. There is the first, what we'll call them the micro trader. Okay, you know who you are. No, I can't. Michael. Blame Mike Vicker. But the micro trader, and the micro trader's mentality is lots of trades, but they have to be quick. They have to be. Sometimes, Mike was even saying in the very beginning, he was trading one-minute trades, right? But 5-minute trades to 1-hour trades are probably the most, time frames. You start getting to 2 hours, and there's something about the mechanics of how they trade changes, right? When you're a micro trader, when you're programmed as a micro trader, that you have to have quick result to the process. Most of you are extremely disciplined to be able to get into that trade, right? And they are fun. They are exciting. Paul says it down, and they're fun. Yes, they are. They're exciting when you can do them, right? The second type of mentality that I mostly see, and we'll go to the opposite end, is the macro traders. And these are the guys these are the folks that are like me. I want to place a trade. I want to set it. I want to walk away. I want to come back in 6 months and see I made some money. No, I want to come back in a couple of hours and know that if it lost because it's the loss. If it won because it was the win. That should be a t-shirt. The macro traders usually sit around between 1.5 to 2.5 hours for that trade, right? And this macro micro kind of mentality sometimes don't mesh well together with people. I haven't found too many people that were perfectly both, okay, and could do perfectly both. And of course, we have, I don't even know what to call you guys, the in-betweens. And these are a mix between, this is a mix between those that can and can't. do the trades on either side, right? They're really good on this side, they're like, yay, or they're really bad on this side, and they're like, oh, but they're still in the middle. They're still doing both, they're reaching on both sides of the table, the in-betweenies. I like that, Paul. They should be like little bunnies. The in-betweenies, right? The in-betweenies are, now these aren't bad people. These ain't bad people. They're just, sometimes they have a lot of doubt, right? They come over here and they get into 5 minutes and they're doing great, they're doing great, they're doing great. They lose one and then they go, oh no, I lost one. Maybe I should go back over here and try these. And then they do one and do one and do one and do, and then they lose one. They're like, ah, crap, I lost one. I got to go back over here. And that's been a majority of people. Okay, so don't take offense if you do that, right? Don't take offense, because I'm not here to ridicule you or beat you down. I'm here to show you that there's a mentality that you're doing, and what you are doing right now is you're hedging. You're hedging on both sides of that fence. And that's okay, because this is what, as traders and as human beings, as business people, we've been trained to do, is to trade under a hedge potential, because we are constantly looking for what's broke. Okay? It's like driving a car down the road and hearing a ticking in the engine. You don't jump out of the car, run over to the car lot and buy a new car without investigating first. And how many of you in your life said, you know what, that little ticking sound is the belt that keeps clicking around. It's a little bit worn, but maybe I should just wait until payday to get another one, right? Or get it fixed or figure it out. You're okay with the tick. You're okay with a couple of losses. You're okay with the drawdown, right? That's what we're getting to here. Now, each of you have a mentality of, so from the micro to the macro to the in-betweenies, you all have some common denominators. And this is what I love about all of you. You all want profit, right? You all want to be successful. And you all have compassion for each other in this process. Isn't that amazing? And I've watched you all do this. I've watched you, those that come in that really settle. Now, this is not including, okay, any of the, oh boy, I almost went down that road. All right, I'm going to say it. Any of the assholes that we come upon, okay? This isn't any of those people that come in here looking for the angry, right? They're the people that come in and are like, I can't get any trades, just some stocks, I'm out of here. These are the people that they've been encrusted within the virus of this industry. And they've been hurt. I don't blame those people. I don't. I really don't. I really don't blame them for being angry. I really don't blame for them thinking that it's a scam or the blue meanies. Paul, you're just coming up with some, the in-betweenies and the blue meanies. I swear to God, it sounds like a Lord of the Flies book. But there is a reason why they exist. And that existence sometimes is needed to show the rest of us how lucky we are that we escaped that process, that we escaped that mentality, that we've opened up ourselves to be able to trade, to do what needs to be done, to survive the drawdown, and then build that next relationship with ourselves. Okay. Now, I know that I went down this line a little bit premature. I really want to go down this here, right? But I needed to let you know, because before I deliver to you what we have built and what I've worked so hard for, and what other people in this network have worked so hard for, is not just about an individual. It's not just about one type of mentality. It's for everybody. I'm not here for this person or this person or this person more than another. I'm here as an entire unit of mentality to be able to make something, and it's not one size fits all. Come on. It doesn't exist. And if anybody tells you our system works for every type of trader, screw you, no it don't. Our entire network works for every type of mentality of trader, because We as a network are the ones that influence the market. We're the humans behind it. So we're creating it for those that have these maladies. So with the help of Mike Ficca and Jonathan and a handful of other people that are inside the network, working their asses off every day, we were able to, first we built the indicator system, right? Over at Dex Indicators, we built the 5-minute MDM. And one thing happened, right? We all knew that a lot of people loved it because they love MetaTrader 4, or you may like it, or you may sort of like it, okay. You may not want to kill it every day, who knows, right? That you don't hate it. Let's just say that. You may not love it, but you don't hate it, right? And you can use it, right? And this was successful. It's begun to show some success in the fact that you can do it, right? And that you have that availability to be able to do that. And then I got this idea one day that, hey, you know what? We're good. We can make the charts. We can make this system. Because we had to make Dex data charts anyway, let's find a way to take the indicators and put them onto our own chart system, right? And we did it. It's taken some time. It took me a long time to get Dex MACD up here, right? But then we made it with the charts on it. So we got it with the charts with the Dex MACD, got all these lines on it, everything's going great. We're loving life. But then somebody said, listen, I really can't stand the MetaTrader 4. Is there a possibility we can get some sort of indicator with the 5-minute signal on it so I can do it over DexTrader, so I can use it on the web-based charts? And it just started the mentality. It just started moving. And see, this is where my mentality comes in. You can separate my mentality in probably 15 or different places. And if Amy was here, she'd probably tell you that I'm a notorious buildaholic, right? But in the concepts of building, it just seemed right for me. It seemed right for me to say, okay, if we're going to build it into an indicator into a web-based system, one, we have to have accuracy. Two, we have to have an acknowledgement that it works at a certain level and that it can work for you on your web browser, an ease of use kind of process. So we built this. And under DexTrader, the 5-minute NDM-WB, which stands for nothing else, web-based. And the web-based process, okay, is simple. Oh, here, let me refresh the page. It's simple. The first, this is just a test version of putting it into a Foursquare. We'll have it a little bit bigger and some other tools on board, and you'll see how easy it is to use and see. Okay. You can then scrape through and look on a bigger size. There's a news platform that's on here that tells us what news are available and releasing. There's refreshing the frameworks. There's a whole bunch of things that are being applied to this. Now, why is this so important? Well, because right now, you're seeing this on my Chrome. This is my MT4 that I'm showing you, and this is my Chrome, right? So how powerful is that? Because guess what, folks? This same page can appear on your pad. I know, kind of crazy. Second and third release of this too, it's going to be in an application. And I'm not saying to get it on your phone, God forbid. This is small enough as it is. You're going to go blind trying to see it. But, you know, easy enough to use. Easy enough to find out what levels you go to. I'll show you how to read the charts using a little bit of macro vision, right? Something we just talked about a couple minutes ago, even looking at different trend areas and where to go and what prices to get, using a little bit of price action purchase, right? So the 5-minute MDM, web-based, we got it on the web. We got the MACD on board. But I went to put the support and resistance on board. Now, the support and resistance, the SR works on a lot of different things. There's like 4 different indicators inside that process, from pivoting tables to the zigzag table to probably about, I think, close to maybe 9,000 lines of code just for the one side of it. And in doing that, trying to compile all that into just some simplistic coding formats to fit on board the system, it was hurting the system too much. It was okay if only one or two people hit it, but the moment it started to go viral and I have this way to check people to it. I can add fake IPs to it and push a whole bunch, different IPs to it and test it and open it up in many screens and test it with this computer that I have, which is amazing. And as soon as I put more than 10 on it, it was starting to crash and then leak information, do all this stuff. Remember, transparency here, folks. This is your company too. So there are other forms of the support and resistance that are coming, right? But because I'm building it the way I am for toughness, right? I'm building this for toughness. This is the scrapyard version. This is the rough and tumble, get in there and prototype the shit out of this and beta test this as much as you possibly can, right? Other versions of this process without the 5-minute series is coming out and going to go into the rest of the charts. You're not going to have all the pretty drawing stuff on there just yet. That'll be in next versions. But even at this level with the DEX MDM WB, this is one powerful system in here that we're developing, that we've developed. And you're going to have a tremendous amount of information and ability to be able to go in and trade. And you're going to be able to use the fundamentals, learning how to trade, even if you bought this for the first month and this taught you how to trade in a 5-minute series like the Trader's Mind series, which is also going to be on this thing, and a journal tab, and a booking tab. These things are going to be great for you if you're in for the 5-minute trade, if you're a micro trader. If you are a micro trader, please do not, I hate to go all William Shatner on your ass, but do not try to flip your mind. If you're a macro trader, don't try to go after the 5-minute unless you're going in to train for your bigger trades later on. But then you don't have to worry about switching back and forth and all that stuff. Then you got the double stow system. You got a whole bunch of other things you can do. Okay. Chris G says WB has worked great for me so far. Thanks, Chris. You probably won't have access to it right now. I'm sorry if you've gotten taken on. I don't know if you've been put on the list. I had to close it down to being open because I was kidding. Man, somebody must have shared the link or something. A whole bunch of people started going to it. It wasn't even my side of it. It was like almost 100 people started, 100 different uniques. Maybe it got indexed or something. I shared the link inside the chat room, but I didn't realize how many people were going to go to it. And these were people that weren't within our network. They weren't recognizable IPs. This was somewhere on the world other than our members, where it got shared someplace that our members shared it someplace else. So no, it hasn't been officially released. It just started. We just got the membership fee onto the DEX Trader system. And yeah, you got it in the chat room. And that's okay. I'm not saying that. You will, if you want access to this, if you're already a DEX, if you're already, yeah, there's a leak. There's a leak in here. Yes. Fake news, people. If you are already a DEX MDM member already and you want this instead of your other, we're just going to give you a comp on it and you'll just keep your memberships. You'll have memberships to both. But if you have your DEX membership, okay, but now keep in mind too, you have to be paying full price for the system. If you got comped your first part of it, you can either have one or the other. You can't have both. Okay, so we take you off the one and comp you for the other side and let you have that side of it. But if you have to be paying full price for the system and what the network is for that system. So keep in mind that if you're already a member, you got to be a full paying member of the program. When we first released the first MDM, we comped the first 25 people in there after they paid us $97 because there were some snafus and some other things. Now all those snafus worked themselves out in less than 3 days, so they really got a super kick-ass program for $97. We could just legally say that was it. Now, morally, I want to be able to help you guys as much as possible. So for people like Chris or for other people that want the system, that wanted to make the program work, you got to make sure that you're a full paying person, member of the network in there as well, for that solution. All right. If you're unsure, contact Amy, contact Brian, contact myself, and which I'll probably just end up pushing everything over to Amy anyway, because she's the one who keeps all the books and knows where everybody's at. All right. Hope she won't kill me later. All right. So let's see here. Also, if you're going to go after the DEX trader side of it, the MDMWB, if you're already a full paying member of the DEX trader side, it's only $97 more. If you haven't bought in yet, and I'm pretty sure you're not, I mean, this is going to be a public, if you haven't bought in, you're watching this after the fact, you buy the WMB or MDMWB side, I almost said weapons of mass destruction here. If you buy that, you're going to get the entire website of DEX Trader for it's all inclusive. So you get the MDMWB and the other DEX Trader stuff as well. Signals everything in that side for that one subscription price, which is pretty powerful for you as well. All right. Let's jump over. I said I wasn't going to take too long. I kind of went on just a little bit, and I do apologize. We'll make this last part very quick. I'm going to have a conversation with a tremendous amount of you. We're going to talk about elite and senior calls. I'm going to be reaching out to different seniors for senior levels and elite levels. We're going to have a form for those that are not senior or elite yet. If you want to become, you're going to join a list. You're going to get on that list so we can watch for you, because we have a tremendous amount of people coming into the network. We can't keep track of everybody. If you want to be more in the company, then you got to let us know, because we want to be able to help you. I can start showing you what different things that you can do, different things, practices that you can help us with to help build the company and build the process by sharing your information, sharing your journals, sharing your experiences, talking to others, being chat moderators, all that kind of stuff. These are things you can all apply for and be a part of. We just need to know. If you're already an elite or already a senior, don't worry. We're going to get to you. If you don't hear from us by the end of the week, please reach out to us. But we're going to try to get to every one of you. There's going to be some seniors that are going to reach out to other senior traders and other elite traders. Don't worry. I'm asking them to do so, to reach out to you, to either invite you into the program or let you know more information. Okay, they're going to be the eyes and ears and the right and left hands of the company, and we are trusting them to do a good job and be just as transparent and as honest as we all are, that we want this success to be of the highest caliber. Okay, so be prepared. That's coming here soon as well. Final thoughts, and again, I'll make this super quick. You have to be secure within your own failure, because every single day is a battle of wins and losses. But those wins and losses don't make you a success or failure. They make you proficient. Those wins and losses don't make you a success or failure. And I'm saying this again for effect. They make you proficient in trading. Overall, your wins and your losses make you a success. So be secure. If you do what you do and you still fail, be secure with that, because failure is never about an end result. It's never about, I failed, so I might as well give up everything, and then you're sitting in the room drinking bourbon all night. Okay? Failure is only a premise to tell you that that didn't work for you. What else can you do? Welcome failure to be a part of your growth, a part of business plan, a part of your model. Listen, I started out 10 years ago working from home because I fell through a roof of a company I was working with as a fire suppressionist. And as I was doing the piping work up in the ceiling, I fell through. Got sort of a wake-up call. Sat down with my brother and said, you know what? I don't think I could do this. I'm going to start this business and I want to get into radio, get internet radio, become marketing, do all this stuff. I met with my wife and I said, listen, do you mind if we just have a real conversation here? It's like boyfriend-girlfriend kind of time, right? And we came to this agreement that if I was going to do this, we were going to work hard. I could never give up, no matter what it was. Did the first business work? No. Did the second business work? No. Third, fourth? No. But the fifth did. And the fifth is stuck, and it's been working very hard because I learned so much from those other failures. And some of them weren't even really failures. It was just something that just didn't work out. And along the way, you make promises and once, and you have have great enthusiasm, and you're telling other people, oh, I'm going to do this and this is going to be great, but then it fails, and does that make you go hide in a corner? If you're an adult and you really do want success, no, it should empower you. This brings me to my second point. Become fluent in who you are and knowing the signs of who you are, what triggers you. Okay? Becoming fluent in you knowing the signs is a very important aspect of being able to see when things start to go bad for you. Right? Like when you have a loss. Why can I speak of the terms when I say when you get a loss, you go, oh my God, something's happening, I gotta go check something else out. Well, because holy crap, that's what I did. So I'm speaking from experience. Because I've talked to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other people that do the same thing. When you become fluent in those signs, you now know when shit's about to hit the fan for you. Right? So once you become fluent in that, knowing those signs, you can now take steps for avoidance, preparation for the big slam or the shit hitting the fan, right? Some of us, even though that we know, we still hit the fan. We know that happens, but you get to cringe a little bit, or you get to hold on to the oh shit bars. And when that does happen, the final thought is when in doubt, talk it out. Reach out to us. There's close to 2,500 of us within the network, within free systems, paid systems, comp programs, members of the network that are trusted elites and seniors. There's 3 major owners of this company that care of nothing but your success and your idea of success and to help you. And there's many more people within that, within senior and elites, Michael, Paul, Brad Beckham, Chris, a whole bunch of other people that have done the extra, have gone the mile, have walked in the shoes, that want to be there for you as well. So if you ask, I'm pretty sure we've seen not maybe everything, but pretty damn close. So make sure that if you doubt yourself, if you're unsure of the process, if you're just maybe you're shook to the core, reach out, hit a booking, hit somebody in chat, ask them a question, be open for help, because it's the only thing that's going to get you to success when you're in that hole. Because when you're in that hole and you're looking up, you don't want to see a bunch of assholes above you. You want to make sure that the people that are above you, that are out of that hole already, are there to reach around and help you pull you out of that hole, not kick you back down in there. For all of you watching this after the fact, I want to thank you for your time in getting to this part of the video. For everybody that's in the chat room, stick around. We got some questions and answers to do. I have a few extra minutes, and I want to be able to help you if you have any questions. Everybody else, sayonara, have a great day, and of course, trade well. I'm Max, and this is Dex.